October 30th, 1961. Official archives record the Tsar bomber test, but the true goal of Project Umbrella was hidden. On Novaya Zemlya, a giant tower complex was erected for the super-yield detonation. Physicists calculated the blast yield, but failed to account for the resonance effect with Earth's magnetic core. A second before detonation, automated sensors in the command bunker register a critical power surge. At 11:32, detonation occurs. The flash pierces the stratosphere, scorching film inside observation posts. A colossal seismic shockwave circles the globe 3 times, shifting tectonic plates. The resonant impulse proves fatal. Earth's rotational axis tilts by 4.2 degrees in a matter of seconds. The gravitational shift nudges the planet into a wider, colder orbit, driving it away from the Sun. Astronomers are first to notice the anomaly. Stars shift their usual paths, distorting the night sky. Precise calculations confirm a terrifying fact. The solar day has shortened by 14 minutes. November 1961. At a secret briefing, the verdict is declassified. Average temperatures will drop. Top leadership decides to classify the axis shift from the public to prevent global panic. The White House learns of the disaster 3 days after seismographs recorded the crustal shift. In the middle of autumn, an unprecedented snowstorm strikes the eastern coast of the US. 1962. Equatorial waters freeze over with a thick crust of ice for the first time in history. Agriculture across the entire northern hemisphere dies completely in a single crop season. Global industry urgently pivots to emergency extraction of coal and peat for urban survival. Coal quarries operate around the clock, shrouding cities in dense black toxic smoke. Metropolises introduce strict rationing card systems for heating fuels, hot water, and electricity. Thousands of citizens in padded coats wait daily at heating stations under plummeting temperatures. US and USSR governments sign a classified Geneva I Pact to merge orbital mirror development. Design bureaus from both blocs form a joint engineering team, codenamed Helios. Under strict secrecy, super-heavy launch silos are drilled deep into the permafrost. Baikonur 2 spaceport is established. Designed exclusively for atomic pulse rockets. 1965. The first atomic pulse rockets carrying mirror sections launch from subterranean silos. 2-stage rockets pierce heavy snow clouds, entering low Earth orbit. Automatic deployment of the first parabolic mirror. Helios 1 begins in vacuum. The huge solar mirror focuses its first intense beam of sunlight onto the frozen continent. However, a software bug in the brass gyroscope computer causes a positioning failure. An unguided beam miles wide tears through the atmosphere, striking the Atlantic Ocean. Thermal shock instantly evaporates millions of tons of ice, releasing a hot steam surge. The thermal corridor leaves a scorched black swath across Western Europe. The superpower alliance collapses overnight. Both sides accuse each other of sabotage. Geneva negotiations collapse completely as diplomats walk out of the underground bunker. 1967. Heavy shield combat satellites armed with autocannons are placed into orbit. Low Earth orbit transforms into the arena for the first space war over sunlight. American Apollo 10 interceptors reach intercept vector against the SHIELD satellite series. For the first time in human history, armed conflict erupts in open outer space. A direct hit punctures the main supercooled fuel tank of Helios 1. A colossal explosion disintegrates the 400-meter parabolic mirror array. Thousands of high-velocity fragments trigger a Kessler Cascade in low orbit. The shrapnel belt obliterates 80% of both superpowers' satellite fleets within 48 hours. Ground tracking stations lose all telemetry. Global satellite communications die. Low Earth orbit becomes an impassable barrier for spaceflights for the next 50 years. Loss of the orbital program leaves continents helpless against advancing glaciers. World governments enact program depth, transferring critical infrastructure underground. Construction of massive elevated steam pipelines begins to maintain urban heating grid. Cities turn into labyrinths of reinforced concrete pipes, venting hot industrial steam. Seeking energy, engineers direct atomic thermal drilling complexes deep into Earth's crust. Drilling rigs descend to 15 kilometers, aiming for direct access to mantle heat pockets. First subterranean geothermal high-pressure extraction plants rise inside deep caverns. Colossal glazed geodesic domes are erected over central urban metropolitan districts. 1974. Domes become isolated survival enclaves featuring their own internal microclimates. Paper currency collapses completely. Kilowatt-hour of heat becomes the new global standard. Lines of thousands form at stations for strict rationing of hot water and thorium fuel blocks. Power inside the domes shifts to the Energy Committee, a strict military technical junta. Armed patrols in heavy armored suits seize control over primary heat junctions. 1978, first massive labor insurrection breaks out in the Siberia 4 mining sector. Insurgents capture the main steam valve, demanding restoration of basic heating norms. Assault squads crush the riot, but the threat of instability forces search for new solutions. Engineers draft Project Leviathan, constructing super-heavy atomic land cruisers. Leviathan's mission: venture onto the open surface to locate new geothermal rifts. 1981, first land cruiser leaves the sealed hangar, venturing into the snowbound darkness. A skyscraper-sized tracked giant advances through the ice desert, leaving a heated trail. Using thermal scanners, the expedition locates a tectonic rift near the former Suez zone. The cruiser halts at the canyon edge, spewing powerful plumes of hot gas from its depths. Yet over 15 years, outcast factions emerged on the surface, surviving in frozen ruins. Outcasts on motorized snow scooters assault the land crawler, attempting to seize its core. The Leviathan crew repels the raid by venting superheated steam at 50 atmospheres. At the bottom of the geothermal rift, the first fortified surface, Arc 1, is established. Arc 1 radio masts transmit a signal underground declaring rifts viable for human life. For the new generation, the sun is officially replaced by the geothermal reactor under a dome. 1989, computing centers of the arcs calculate a new critical threshold. Mantle heat begins to fade. Classified Project Erebus launches, drilling a super-deep shaft in Antarctica directly into a magma chamber. At 22 kilometers depth, the thorium melter strikes a pressurized molten gas pocket. Automated pressure relief valves fail within 3 seconds due to anomalous load. A column of molten magma and superheated gas ruptures the concrete base, engulfing the control hall. Magma contacting the thorium reactor core triggers an uncontrolled nuclear explosion beneath the ice. The subterranean blast tears through millions of tons of the ice sheet, creating a fiery surface crater. Billions of cubic meters of ancient ice instantly vaporize into a blinding geothermal geyser. A 30-kilometer thermal ash and steam cloud permanently blocks all remaining sunlight. The shockwave sweeps through underground galleries, shattering primary heating pipelines. Command bunkers register secondary micro-shifts in Earth's crust across the entire South Pole. Black ash settles onto the ice sheet, plunging the planet into absolute darkness. 1993, scientists prepare a final extreme measure, a kinetic impulse strike on Earth's satellite. Project Apollo 2's goal, detonating a 50-gigaton payload to stabilize the orbital vector. Launch is executed under absolute radio silence to prevent orbital interception. A blinding plasma torch from the nuclear engine illuminates the frozen polar horizon. The detonator ship Apollo 2 travels on a 3-day course toward the lunar pole. The module crosses near-Earth orbit against the dark, ice-covered planetary disk. The optical guidance system locks the crosshairs onto the central peak of Shackleton Crater. A super-heavy thermonuclear explosion ruptures the lunar crater, throwing a huge regolith plume. The gravitational micro-impulse adjusts rotational vector. Earth stabilizes its tilt. Further planetary drift away from the Sun halts at the boundary of steady permafrost. Average surface temperature locks steadily at -25 degrees Celsius. Plunge is halted. Humanity enters a stable phase of the atomic ice age. 1998. Tectonic backlash from the lunar strike ruptures primary underground steam mains. Tri-party thermal deficit between isolated arcs triggers the First Underground War. Mining excavation rigs are retrofitted into heavy armored assault tunneling tanks. Arc military formations deploy heavy assault tanks along primary gallery networks. The first full-scale battle erupts at the Omega Central Steam Distribution Junction. Armored crawlers ram barricades, engaging in close-quarters fire in tight concrete vaults. Infiltration squads blow up main gate valves, plunging target sectors into instant frost. Explosion of a cast-iron valve releases a jet stream of freezing water and high-pressure steam. Within 2 hours, temperature inside the breach tunnel drops to -30 degrees. The captured sector transforms into an ice labyrinth filled with frozen vehicle hulls. Fearing total extinction, commanders sign the Subterranean Neutrality Pact. Each arc seals its interior blast doors shut, transitioning into complete isolation. 2002. Destruction of main steam lines forces arcs to abandon shared heating conduits. Engineers convert each sealed dome to a compact, autonomous thorium reactor unit. Liquid thorium capsules become the sole source of heat, light, and power for sealed sectors.
Inside isolated caverns, first fully enclosed agricultural biospheres are constructed. Artificial phytolighting replaces sunlight for millions of underground citizens. 2005. Second generation of children of the underground is born, having never seen open sky. In bunker classrooms, nature lessons are taught using 1950s photographs and physical models. The surface world is reimagined in underground folklore as the impenetrable frost. Technical manuals for reactor maintenance gradually elevate to the status of sacred canon. Chief sector engineers lead technocratic councils, enforcing a strict new social hierarchy. 2008. Thorium deposits inside sealed mines prove insufficient for continued population growth. Technocratic councils pass a unanimous decree: prepare a second expedition to the surface. 2010. The 3 largest arcs pool remaining resources to launch Project Helios 2. The objective, orbiting an automated payload module equipped with an upgraded mirror array. Unmothballed silo Baikonur 2, buried beneath deep ice, is chosen as the launch site. A super-heavy rocket fueled by enriched thorium rises into the launch shaft. Launch succeeds. The rocket pierces the atmospheric ash layer and achieves orbit. The new module unfolds its mirror array at an altitude of 400 kilometers above Earth. However, 1960s orbital space debris forms an insurmountable hazard for the payload. Kessler Cascade disintegrates the Helios 2 module within 6 hours of orbital deployment. Before disintegrating, an off-target beam strikes critical seismic junction node Omega. A localized subterranean cave-in destroys the central steam distribution hub. The arcs accuse each other of deliberate beam steering and orbital sabotage. Final diplomatic channels are severed. Negotiations yield permanently to warfare. 2012. The Second Underground War erupts over remaining operational thorium reactors. Heavy tunneling tanks engage in artillery duels inside reinforced gallery passages. Core fighting centers around the primary communications and power distribution junction. An explosive shell strike ruptures a pressurized superheated process water storage tank. Superheated steam at 50 atmospheres floods miles of intersector connecting tunnels. Lower residential levels flood with boiling water, causing widespread panic and evacuation. Destruction of the central distribution hub shatters the remnants of the grid. Most arcs lose all connectivity, plunging into structural chaos and darkness. 2015. Subterranean civilization fractures completely into isolated feudal enclaves. Colossal steel blast doors seal permanently, leaving only void between sectors. The era of great silence sets in, a period of total informational isolation for each dome. Each autonomous sector considers itself humanity's last surviving stronghold on Earth. 2020. Automated radars of the central arc detect a thermal anomaly near the equator. Data appears on mainframe computers. Temperature inside Suez tectonic rifts exceeds 0. The Technocratic Council authorizes Protocol Phoenix, equipping a heavy expeditionary force. 6 Leviathan 3 atomic land transports line up inside the main departure airlock. Heavy blast doors slide open, releasing the convoy into the frozen blizzard on the surface. The convoy advances through a black blizzard under a pale orange horizon of a dying sky. On the third day, the expedition reaches the basin of the geothermal rift. A giant canyon opens before the explorers, with plumes of steam erupting from its floor. For the first time in 3 decades, humans behold living, unfrozen flora in a natural habitat. Explorers unlatch heavy helmets, inhaling the humid geothermal atmosphere of the rift. Automated radio beacon Phoenix 1 is erected atop the highest cliff of the rift. The mast emits a directional laser and radio coordinate beam directly into the stratosphere. After 12 hours, radio frequencies between subterranean sectors explode with hundreds of replies. Over 20 sealed arcs confirm reception and prepare for surface emergence. Tracked caravans set course for the Suez Rift from all corners of the frozen globe. 1999. Construction of the first open-air surface city begins inside the geothermal basin. Engineers link mobile thorium reactors into a unified surface geothermal grid. The new settlement is officially designated New Dawn, a symbol of civilizational rebirth. For the first time in 60 years, children play on open ground beneath real sunlight. Sunlight filtering through thin clouds illuminates the first timber and concrete homes. A joint umbrella archive is established to preserve the history of the 1961 test. The fundamental error of the past century becomes the ultimate lesson for future generations. Humanity did not restore its old world, but forged a new one, forged in atoms and steel. The Chronicle folder of Project Umbrella is sealed inside the central vault. You have watched the complete chronology of Project Umbrella by Alternative Outline, 20th. This story demonstrated how a single technological error altered the trajectory of civilization. In upcoming episodes, we will uncover secrets of other declassified 20th century files. Breakdown of the Erebus atomic crawler disaster and the First Underground War is incoming. Subscribe to the channel to not miss upcoming episodes of our alternative chronicle. Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments. We read and analyze every response. Your support helps us continue detailing and declassifying alternative worlds, shape history with us, and explore the unknown pages of the alternative 20th century. Thank you for watching. See you in the next declassified file on our channel. Alternative outline, 20th branded slate featuring the New Dawn landscape, complete fade out of light and soundtrack,